Welcome to the Anime Podcast channel. My name is Benji, and today is a special day because this will be the first day I'll be covering Sakamoto Days chapter reviews on the channel and discussion videos. Now this will be in tandem with the obvious One Piece reviews and a very special Greymon chapter review coming up very soon, and also of course the podcast episodes. And it's my mission, as well as some of the guys on the channel, to bring you as much content as possible to hopefully get the Geek Giant name out there. But we are here to talk about chapter 56 of Sakamoto Days. And this chapter is, interestingly enough, a chapter that leaves so many mysteries and plot threads that can be kind of tied in a little bit later on in the story. From potentially strong characters to a possible Hunter x Hunter style exam later on in the series. And coming off the hype that was the Ja invasion arc, cause goddamn that arc was fire. The mangaka of Sakamoto Days is certainly getting into a rhythm with this series, and I'm here to push the Sakamoto Days agenda to its limit. But without further ado, let's get it. Now, following the events of last chapter, we actually catch up with my boy Shishiba and my girl Osaragi. Love me some Osaragi. Anyways, we follow them after we see the damage that had been done from both Slur and Gaku during the Ja invasion. And here's some stats for you. They took out 40% of this building. 2 niggas, and maybe 3 because of Uda, but the 2 niggas took out 40% of the Kanto Bureau. And we also find out that the agency globally has taken a huge nosedive as far as stock prices. And it's really funny because Osaragi, she actually asks, due to the stock prices falling, are they still expected to go ahead and receive their, bonus? And Shishiba kind of jokes with her and says no, but she says he's being too dramatic. And like I said, the thing about Sakamoto Days are those little funny comical interactions between these violent killers. And I don't know, man, it's really nice to see kind of dialogue like this. This is the reason I love Sakamoto Days so much. But the most important thing that we find out this arc is that the entirety of the order needs to come together. And that means the remaining members who haven't shown face just yet are going to make an appearance in the story. And from what we can infer, we'll be able to see Kanaguri. Now, that name may or may not ring a bell, but thanks to one of my fellow mutuals and a fellow Sakamoto Days fan, Mar on Twitter, we have actually gotten mention of Kanaguri all the way back in chapter 10 of the series, and it seems like in some way, shape, or form, Kanaguri was apparently arrested on a violation of regulation, whatever that means. Now, with this being said, we can kind of infer that Kanaguri is a troublemaker. But that isn't the only reference to Kanaguri that we see in the series. Dating all the way back to chapter 13, Sakamoto and the gang actually need to get information on Dandakai. Quick side note, isn't it so cool how you receive information in the Sakamoto Days universe simply by going to a rental movie store and watching movies about your enemies and your ops? That is super dope, and I love the aesthetic. I love everything about Sakamoto Days, but I love the aesthetic of how that kind of works out. That's super dope. Anyways, after watching the film, you see a familiar name when you watch the credit sequence, Kanaguri. And this just doubles down on how much of an important character Kanaguri will be later on in the story. His connection with the Order, as well as potentially Sakamoto. His foreshadowing the story all the way back to chapter 10 leaves so much for this character to have an impact on the story. And will probably be a force to be reckoned with, considering he is an Order member. But the thing that is funny, it doesn't seem like he gets along with all of his Order co-workers, especially having Shishiba say he hates this guy. But if we're gonna be pretty honest, it's pretty easy to get on Shishiba's bad side. He stabbed the waiter for putting onions in his risotto. Brutally, by the way, so there's that. So moving on to the second phase of the chapter, we actually get caught back up with Gaku, and we also see a very familiar face. And we see Mr. Reindeer. I think that's his name. And from what we actually inferred a little bit earlier on in the chapters of Sakamoto Days, I thought this man had died. He got sliced and diced by my man Apart. He was one of the 4 death row inmates who made an appearance in the series in order to kind of stir things up, a part of Slur's plan. But I guess Buddy is still alive. But the thing about it is, I'm not too mad about it, because I think he has some kind of cybernetic attachments to his body or enhancements. But not even going to lie, as far as characters aesthetically, he's one of my favorite. I don't know, just having a reindeer head with a suit and just having him kind of seem so ominous and so mysterious at the same time. When his introduction was when I think we got to the Shin Labs arc. I'm not 100% sure what the lab was called. I think it was just called the lab. But yeah, all of those things, I don't know, just correlate to so much dope aesthetic work in Sakamoto Days. But basically, Mr. Reindeer is reattaching Gaku's arm. Now, if you remember, during Gaku's and Mr. Takamoro's fight, this man Gaku literally lost his arm and kicked that shit right back at Takamoro. Come on. He said, I don't need this. Come on. That's fire, dog. Come on, stop playing. But we actually get dialogue of how much of a powerhouse Mr. Takamoro is. It was said that he was able to cut Gaku's arm with such precision that he was able to easily reattach the nerves that he lost in his hand in order to reattach his hand in general. But not only that, it was also said that Gaku was the only one to ever fight Mr. Takamoro and still be alive, to be a survivor. And also, in addition, we also find out from Slur that Mr. Takamoro is more of a legend than you may think, and he has been in the order so long that no one even knows when he first joined. But the one thing that is known about Mr. Takamoro, his immense strength and skill. And I quote this from Slur: "There was a time when I thought he was like Santa or some kind of ghost, a fictional character from the collective imagination." But the biggest thing this chapter that stands out is that both him, Mr. Reindeer, and Gaku both kind of understand that Mr. Takamoro is simply a personification of all of the bloodlust that all of the assassins in the world have. So basically, he's such a legend that it seems like all of the bloodlust and the killing factor of all of the assassins have embodied Mr. Takamoro. And you know what type of monster or what kind of skill you have to have for people to think you're a legend? Like literally somebody from a fictional book? That shit is crazy. And we also get some super dope dialogue from Slur this chapter, and in essence he seems tired and essentially has, taken acceptance for his defeat in the last arc. And with the unexpected arrival of Sakamoto and Mr. Takamura, there's really nothing he could have done. But instead of rushing in and going directly to another job location, which is primarily probably going to have a tighter security, Slur has actually already initiated a process in order to recruit more people for his cause, to destroy Ja. And this amount of time that we see between now and the next time that we see Slur, it's going to be a whole different level of combat. Especially with Slur kind of reevaluating all of his assets and really going in with full force to destroy Ja. And I think this is going to be super crazy too with this arc that's coming up with the JCC. The thing that's super dope is we'll start to learn more information about Slur and what is his motivations for actually trying to take out Ja itself, and more specifically, Mr. Sakamoto. But last but not least, we actually cut back to the Sakamoto family, and right now they're discussing the JCC and how they can get more information on Slur. Now, if you guys do remember, the JCC is the Academy of Assassins. And one funny panel that we actually get towards the end of the chapter is we see this funny interaction of Nagumo, my goat. When he fought Minimalist in Sakamoto's store, Nagumo actually trashed the place. And Sakamoto actually realizes when he checks some of the products that are on his shelves. And basically some of the floaters are basically the people who kind of restore like buildings and stuff like that after big fights. From the order. Basically, Nagumo trashed the place, and Sakamoto takes a little bit of issue to it, so you just see a big vein just pop in Sakamoto's head. Pretty funny shit. Like I said, I love the comedy in the series. But moving forward, we actually get a little bit of subtext on some of the things that the JCC actually has. For one, it really seems like a boarding school, and they only have 1,000 students. Now, another interesting fact that we actually get about the JCC is the fact that any age can enroll in the school. And we realize that both Sakamoto and Hisuke have both graduated from the JCC. Now, the crazy thing is, Shin hasn't. And Shin has been a assassin, I believe, since the time he's been partners with Sakamoto. Now, the thing that makes this really more interesting is this will be an interesting plot point a little bit later on. But we see Sakamoto's wife actually come in, and she seems pretty pissed because she sees a general admissions application lying around. And basically, she's under the impression that Sakamoto is trying to enroll their daughter Hana into the school. And if you look at the goofy ass flyer of it, it just looks like niggas stabbing each other and having guns. The fact of the matter that they're so open about being assassins in this world is so dope too. But I don't know, I just find the flyer super funny too. But this leads us to the dope double page panel that we get in the series of both Sakamoto and Shin both on an airplane getting ready to embark on their journey to the JCC. And it's funny, I don't know if you noticed this, Sakamoto has a student t-shirt on, and I think he's eating something at the time as well. But like I said, I like all of this, everything in this series, like the little attention to detail is so nice to kind of see. And like I said, Sakamoto has already graduated from the JCC, but like I said, for one, there's no age limit when you want to enroll into the school. And, you know, Sakamoto's idea in order to get back into the school is to simply, how can I say it? Put on a disguise. And he literally just puts on a hat. So I don't know how it's going to go. This is going to be a funny ass arc. But the thing that's really cool about this is if you see the individuals who are on the plane, it kind of has the same kind of esque as the Hunter x Hunter exam and Hunter x Hunter. And the thing that's super cool about this, I think we're going to see some kind of tournament style arc from the JCC in order to graduate. Now, as far as how it will go or what we'll see, I'm not 100% sure. But we end the chapter on the last page. We may be seeing a waifu just yet. Now, I say may because, like I said, we need more details. We need to know her plan or if she might be a guy. But who knows just yet. So let me chill. But that's the end of the chapter. And I hope you guys liked the video. And my intention with this is to bring more light to the Sakamoto Days kind of agenda. This series has been one of my favorite reads. And it's not necessarily too, you know, impactful when it comes to, you know, extreme plot levels such as Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, a series like that. But the surface level and the meanings to certain characters and how Sakamoto kind of lives his life is very endearing, and just the action itself is warrant alone in order for you to go ahead and read this series. And like I said, the love in this series is so dope, especially with those assassination kind of movie references that you get from John Wick, that you get from Leon the Professional in this series. It's so nice and so endearing, and you know that you know, Mr. Suzuki or Mrs. Suzuki is paying attention to details in each one of his panels. I absolutely love this series. I love going week to week with it. Yuto Suzuki, you are a GOAT. In only 56 chapters, you have truly gripped me. And this is one of my favorite series. It's up there with Don as far as new gen, as well as Aya Simons. So with all that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What does Sakamoto need to do in order to get stronger for his second meetup with Slur? And how will Shin actually meet up to the expectations that it means to be a partner of Sakamoto, one of the greatest assassins in the world? Any questions that you have at all, let me know down in the comments below. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to try to do this every single week. If not every week, I'll do 2 chapters and I'll make it into 1 chapter review. But with that being said, my name is Benji. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.